Hey there, Lisa here, Divine Messages 333 LLC. I want to share a channeled message. I just came back from a walk, and I have to make this really quick because I have to get going. But all right, so I'm just going to show you a couple things I found. Something that I found yesterday. Screeching tires outside. Something I found yesterday was this. If you can read that, it says, God bless you. Okay, whether that's, your belief or not, whatever. Anyway, if anyone needs, this is kind of like some random messages that I got, okay? Oh, jeez. So, anyway, what's funny about this little guy to me is that I found it on the ground, like face down in some leaves, and about a month maybe a little over a month ago, I was at work, and now someone else I work with found this, but I was at work and I turned around, and I didn't know they found it. I turned around and I saw this. So now I have two of them, okay? It's kind of funny, because what are the chances that you will find these? I don't even know, I don't even know where these things, can you buy these things? Did somebody make them? I don't know. Anyway, they're going to my box of things that I collect. Now, what I just found about 45 minutes ago, an hour ago, was this key with Spider-Man on it. Okay, it's still dirty. I need to wash it. I need to cleanse it of the energy. But and then I went on my walk. Okay, so this is the message that I got, and someone needs to hear this. It may help a person. So someone is in a situation right now where they could take a step forward. You may be having some issues with your legs, your knees, your feet. Maybe like some pain or discomfort. Anything like that, okay? So someone is having difficulty moving forward with a decision. I feel like they have cold feet. Someone has cold feet. And so where this key comes into play with the Spider-Man on it is the key is using your intuition. But someone is getting their intuition mixed up. They're mistaking their ego with their intuition. And they're letting their ego guide them, but they're thinking this is their intuition, okay? And so they are ready to they are talking themselves out of not going for an opportunity, not taking an opportunity to move forward with something, whether it is communicating, taking some type of an action. They are getting their ego confused with their intuition. They think it's their intuition. They think they're following their intuition, but they're not. It's really their fear and their ego and a lack of confidence. And I say that because what came to me is that someone is thinking to themselves, or they're feeling like they don't want something to not work out in their favor. They don't want something to not work out in their favor, so they're not going to take an opportunity to take action or to say something. It's going to be different for different people. But because they don't want to feel that feeling of, rejection or something not going in their favor. And so they don't want to be left with this feeling. The thing is, though, because they are getting this mixed up and they think that they're following their intuition, when they do not take advantage of this opportunity or they don't move forward, because they're kind of debating, going back and forth, when they don't do that, there's going to be this feeling of like, rather than feeling like uncomfortable by being like rejected or something not working out for them, they're going to feel regret, because after they have not gone for this opportunity, they're going to realize that they let an opportunity slip by. I saw this banana peel outside, and I saw some like socks outside, so someone has cold feet and they're not following their intuition, okay? And so I do feel like this opportunity is going to come back around, or it could come back around. Now, it doesn't mean that you're necessarily, or the person is necessarily making a mistake, because if someone doesn't feel comfortable or confident enough to move forward and take this chance, then it probably wasn't the right time. It's more likely that it wasn't the right time versus it wasn't the right situation. And so there's going to be this feeling of like regret. Like, why didn't I do it? Why didn't I say it? Why didn't I go for it? But then there's going to be this realization after some time, when they reflect, there's going to be this realization, like, that wasn't my intuition, it was fear. I let fear get in the way. And the key was to believe in myself and believe in my gut and my intuition. And I didn't. I followed my ego, because my ego didn't want me to get hurt. My ego didn't want me to feel uncomfortable. And I let an opportunity slip by or slip through my hands when I had it. And if and when this opportunity comes back around, because I feel like it will, I feel like the person who's going through this is going to understand the second time around. Now, I did see something on the ground that said 4th time. So this could be that they have gone through this multiple times before, and they've let this type of situation, it could be like something that keeps repeating, and they've let this go by, like up to 4 times, or it could be the 4th time that they are facing this type of opportunity. they're going to realize it may be difficult, but they need to put their ego aside and understand that sometimes, even though we feel very uncomfortable, if we're being honest with ourselves and things are in alignment, it doesn't mean everything's going to feel comfortable. Because sometimes our fear wants us, our fear wants us to be comfortable. Our ego wants us to be comfortable, okay? So, but something that's uncomfortable doesn't necessarily mean it's going to help you. It doesn't mean it's going to grow. We can keep wearing like a sweater or shoes that feel comfortable, but the shoes are falling apart. The sweater has holes in it. It smells, it's too small. It's time for something new. And, you can buy a pair of new shoes and you have to break them in. It doesn't mean that the first few times you wear them, they're going to be comfortable. Sometimes you have to buy a sweater and then wash it and wear it a few times before it feels actually soft and comfortable, And so I feel like somebody's going to understand, like, oh, it's okay that I don't feel so comfortable right now, but I'm going to take this opportunity because the last time this came by and I didn't go for it, I sat with regret. And regret is far more uncomfortable than taking that opportunity, taking that chance, taking that leap of faith, and maybe it didn't work out, but at least you made the effort, you mustered up the courage, you took the chance, you believed in yourself enough to not let something slip by. And I just feel like that's somebody, for some people, they may hear it and decide, what, that's what I needed to hear. I'm actually going to go for it. Others may not come across this until after they've decided to not take the chance, and others may see this and say, I get what you're saying, but I'm still feeling like my intuition is telling me, it's not all lining up right, it's not feeling right, so I'm just gonna play it safe and not do it. It's fine. It doesn't mean someone's making a mistake. It just means that it just wasn't your time. There's still more growing. There's still more learning. Sometimes we have to sit with those feelings of regret. Sometimes we have to understand, I get it now. Maybe that person, maybe I wanted to ask somebody out or tell them I have feelings, for them. But I think my intuition's telling me, nah, it's not the right time. Nah, this wouldn't work out, so I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to go there. And then you move on, and then you hear that person was approached by somebody else, and now they're dating somebody else, and now you don't even have a chance because when you had it in your hands, you let it slip by. You let it slip through. And someone else stepped up and took that chance. And now you're sitting here on the side going, well, that's really sucks. if I don't even know if they would have ever said yes. I don't know if they would have said no. I don't actually know anything. No, I still have feelings for this person, and now there was somebody else. And all right, I guess if they don't work out with that person and I ever get a chance to talk to them, approach them, I think the next time I'm gonna go for it, because I'd rather know that they weren't into me than sit here and not know anything. Not know anything, you know? I'd rather go for that job promotion and then find out, something wasn't going to work out or they didn't choose me, than sit here and have to watch somebody else take that job and get all the credit and get all the rewards and all the benefits and stuff, and I'm sitting over here like, wow. I mean, they asked me if I wanted to go for this promotion, and I guess I wasn't that confident in myself and didn't really think, I guess it was my ego, my pride, false pride, fear telling me, you don't want it. You don't want all those extra hours. You don't want that extra responsibility. And then you're seeing like someone else, like, wow, they're getting to go on business trips. They're getting extra benefits. They're moving up a lot faster. Who know? I mean, so whatever your situation is, but that was something. And also, something else that came to me was okay, so an end of a chapter is not always synonymous with an end of a story. So what I was shown is like, in a book or like a movie, you may see like an ending, read about an end, like a character leaves, like in chapter 11, two characters, they end a relationship or something, like a partnership or something, and then the next like couple chapters, 3 chapters, whatever, like the person is gone. They don't even talk about that character anymore. And maybe like toward the end of the book, they're all of a sudden, boom, or toward the end of the movie, oh my gosh, here comes that character again. They just pop up. Like, a lot of times we think something is final. And recently, in the last few months, I have personally had people around me where they didn't want to make some decisions regarding like relationships they were in, whether it was family, friendships. They didn't really want to like end something or make a decision that they felt was going to put an end to something, because it felt so final. It felt like a nail in the coffin. Coffin represents death, right? So that means over, can't resurrect it, done, ain't coming back. But just because an ending happens, I mean, today is, for most of us, right, it's not the last day of our lives. And so how do we know that if we said goodbye to someone today, they wouldn't show up 5 years from now, 2 years from now, 3 months from now, 10 years from now, 25 years from now? How do we know that? We don't know that. For myself, my dad and one of his brothers reunited after, I believe it was like 21 years of absolute zero contact. They probably thought that they would die never having contact again with their brother. Well, my dad had 2 brothers. And the brother that he was separated from for 21 years, they reunited. And my dad was able to have a connection with him again. And he was able to actually be notified when he passed away after years of, being reconnected with him. He was able to, they weren't together for a long time. It was probably like a handful of years, but they had that handful of years. My uncle came back into the picture. My dad came back into the picture. The character the characters popped back up in each other's lives. And my dad went to his funeral. The other brother, my dad had no more contact with him for probably 40 years, maybe even longer than 40 years, and didn't go to the funeral, just had heard from a relative that the brother passed. They never reunited, they never had contact. You don't know how things are going to end, or if it's truly an ending, if it's truly final. So that was just another message that I needed to bring, that the end of a chapter is not always synonymous with an end of a story. Okay? Someone needed to hear that. Until the 19th, what's today, the 14th, so 5 more days, I am doing 50% off on readings. You can check the description box. I actually have to get going. This is going to take a minute to upload. If you don't see it in this description box, because I have to go back and put it in there, if you don't see it in this description box, go to my channel. You'll find it under the bio or the description box on the details on how to contact me for a reading, or you can look at other videos that I recently posted. It's 50% off of the listed prices. I hope you are doing well. You have a great day. Open your eyes. Open your mind wider than your eyes. And we will see you again. Okay. See ya.